This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. This is the Big D here, and this is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. I'm back with another ranking. Today I'm going to be ranking my favorite films with the one and only Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's right, my friends. I'm going to tackle some of the great films he's done. Now, unlike what I did with the Jean-Claude Van Damme ranking I did yesterday, I'm going to be making this ranking an even dozen, since I've seen several of his films. Now, I could decide to do 12 and not 10. I gotta say, it was tough to do this, but I decided to do this as I liked several of these films. Now, before I go into the ranking, you'll get 12 films that I like. Before I start, let me give some honorable mentions. These are films that did not make the ranking. Those films are End of Days, The Sixth Day, that almost did make it. Expect a review of that coming soon. And The Expendables 2 and 3. I decided to chalk those up. But anyway, these are my favorite films of old Arnie's, and I gotta say, they are pretty cool and what have you. So now, if you're ready, let's start this ranking. Sit back, relax, and here we go. Coming in at number 12 is Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines from 2003. Now, I know I decided to have this just a little low, so this way I wouldn't have to. But I absolutely love this movie. This film's pretty good and awesome. Now, while not quite as good as number 2, though, which that is coming up later, and the same with the first one as well. But I really will say Terminator 3 is pretty awesome. Of course, it took place like a decade since John Connor saved Earth from Judgment Day. It's now living under the radar, steering clear of using anything Skynet can trace. That is until he encounters the TX, a robotic assassin, in order to finish what the T-1000 started. And now his former nemesis, the Terminator, is back to aid the now adult Connor, just like he promised. Jonathan Mostel does a pretty good job in directing this. Schwarzenegger once again nails it as the Terminator. Nick Stahl played John Connor. Well, he's not too bad. It also has Claire Danes as Kate Brewster, really good. But it's Christina Loki who really steals the show as the TX. I gotta say, this film is pretty awesome. I really do love Terminator 3. Not as much as the first two, but it's right up there. Now, coming in at number 11, please don't hate me for having this one so low. Number 11 is Last Action Hero from 1993. Now, this film is pretty cool and it's awesome. Of course, it's about a young boy who finds solace in action movies after his father's death, and the films feature an indestructible cop. Given a magic ticket by a theater manager, he's transported into the film and teams up with the cop to stop a villain who escapes into the real world. This film was pretty cool and eventually did pretty well. I will say Schwarzenegger really does a great job in playing the character of Jack Slater. It also has Austin O'Brien, Bridget Wilson, who of course this was just before she did Mortal Kombat and Billy Madison, what have you. Yeah. F. Murray Abraham. Yeah, so not too bad of the performances. I gotta say, Last Action Hero, it's a pretty cool movie, and I thought it had some pretty cool action in it, definitely. Next at number 10 is Kindergarten Cop from 1990. This film's pretty funny, and it's one of Schwarzenegger's rare achievements in doing something that's more than just action, but comedy as well. He plays a hard-edged cop named John Kimball who gets more than he bargained for when he goes undercover as a kindergarten teacher to get the goods on a brutal drug lord, while at the same time protecting the young man's son. He's pitted against a class of boisterous muppets whose antics try his patience and test his mettle. Well, Kimball may have met his match in more ways than one. This film eventually did pretty well at the box office. I have to give credit for that. Schwarzenegger does a great job on this. I won't get into too many details on the film because I will be reviewing this film later on this year for its upcoming anniversary, which will be later on this December. So look for a review of that. But anyway, this film's really funny. Now I haven't seen its direct-to-video sequel, which starred Dolph Lundgren in taking over the role of the kindergarten cop. But if I do find it, I'll look into it and see what I think of it. But kindergarten cop, it's more than just action packed. It's pretty darn funny too. Next at number 9 is Conan the Barbarian from 1982. Now, I almost thought I hadn't seen this, but I did seem to recall I did see this before. Anyway, this was one of the early films, and I think this was kind of the actual film that put Schwarzenegger on the map before the Terminator. Now, although he did do some films before this, dating back to the mid 70s, because I know his first film was a film called Hercules in New York, if I'm not mistaken. I have never seen it, but I've heard of it though. Of course, Schwarzenegger plays the titular character. Well, who plays the barbarian Conan is released from slavery and taught the ancient arts of fighting. After his parents, well, got involved, caught in a massacre by a horde of rampaging warriors. But anyway, Conan transforms himself into a killing machine and take on Thulsa Doom, the man responsible for killing his family. Yeah, this film's pretty cool and pretty awesome. Now, I'm thinking of talking about this sometime soon. It does have some pretty good cast members, including the late great James Earl Jones, whom we sadly lost last year, and Max von Sydow. But anyway, Conan the Barbarian, it's a pretty cool, brutal, action packed film. I will try and review this sometime sooner. Now, coming in at number 8 is Total Recall from 1990. Now, I have yet to review this film, but since I kind of missed its anniversary a few months ago, I am going to try to make up for this and possibly squeeze it into next month's schedule. We'll see what happens. Anyway, Schwarzenegger plays a construction worker named Douglas Quaid. And his obsession with the planet Mars leads him to visit Recall, a company that manufactures memories. When his memory implant goes wrong, well, he can no longer be sure what is and isn't reality. This film was directed by Paul Verhoeven, who had recently directed RoboCop just 3 years prior to this. But anyway, I've seen Total Recall a few times. It's pretty cool and awesome. And I have seen its 2012 remake with Colin Farrell as well. Well, it's not too bad, but it's nowhere close to as good as this film. This also has Sharon Stone in this, Ronnie Cox, Michael Ironside. Yes. I will say the original Total Recall is bloomin' awesome and a real mind blowing blast. Definitely love it. And next up at number 7 is The Running Man from 1987. Now, I will review this film later on in order to promote the brand new remake with Glenn Powell opening this November. But, however, I doubt his performance in that remake will hold a candle up to this one. But anyway, this, of course, is based on a story by Stephen King, being one of his few non horror stories to make it onto the big screen. It's year 2019, and well, the Running Man's a deadly game no one has ever survived. But anyway, I will say this is really cool and what have you. And the game, focuses where runners attempt to evade the stalkers and certain death for a chance to be pardoned and set free. Schwarzenegger does a great job in playing Ben Richards. He does a great job. Richard Dawson, who you may remember, the host of the original Family Feud, and of course from Hogan's Heroes, he was also on Match Game. He plays the villain, Damon Killian. He's awesome. This also has a host of others, including Jesse Ventura, who that same year did another film with him, which is still to come. But anyway, The Running Man is absolutely awesome and a blast. This is why I inspired Midway Games to create their popular arcade game known as Smash TV, as a matter of fact. Yes. Trust me, I know. I found out. But anyway, well, its remake's coming out this year, but I doubt, again, as I've said already, Glenn Powell, I doubt will hold a candle up to Schwarzenegger's performance in this one. But I do love the original Running Man. It's great. And next at number 6 is Jingle All the Way from 1996. Now, this almost didn't make the ranking, but I took the 6A off in places. I know the 6A is pretty cool and awesome, but Jingle All the Way had a lot of craziness and zaniness in it. Believe me, it's much more as a kindergarten cop was, but this was a PG rated film, being a rare achievement for Schwarzenegger. Anyway, of course, I've already reviewed this film. It's about a salesman for a mattress company that's constantly kept busy at his job, disappointed his son. And after he misses his son's karate exposition, he vows to make it up to him by buying him an action figure of his son's favorite TV hero. Unfortunately, when it's Christmas Eve, every store is sold out of the toy, which is Turbo Man, and now he has to compete up against the mail carrier and what have you. Yeah. But anyway, Schwarzenegger's real good. Sinbad's real good as well. It also has a pretty good supporting cast of others. So anyway, I gotta say, Jingle All the Way is definitely a fun-filled film to watch during the holiday season. I know I've been enjoying it. Didn't quite get onto it first, but then of course, in the last few years, it's now grown on me. And I think it's a pretty fun film. Jingle All the Way, definitely funny. And coming in at number 5 is Commando from 1985. Now, I have yet to review this film, but I will eventually. I mean, its anniversary is coming up, even though it's early October, since that's usually when I do Spooktacular October. But I think I can throw out any last minute non horror entries on it. But anyway, this time, Arnie plays John Matrix, the former leader of a special commando strike force that always got the toughest jobs done, and is forced back into action when his young daughter is kidnapped. Well, he has to fight his way through an array of punks, killers, one of his former commandos, and a fully equipped private army. And he gets the help of a feisty stewardess and an old friend, and what have you. Really awesome. Anyway, this is another great performance. Schwarzenegger, once again, good. He plays John Matrix. He's really good. This has lots of other great stars, including Dan Hedaya and David Patrick Kelly. This also has Alyssa Milano, just after she made it big time on TV's Who's the Boss the previous year, as John's daughter. This was really something. Commando is pretty awesome. It's got some pretty brutal action, what have you. I think this is a cool film, and I now come to love this film. Definitely an awesome one. All right, next at number 4 is True Lies from 1994. Now, I did review this film, and of course, it's about a fearless globe-trotting terrorist battling secret agent who has his life turned upside down when he discovers his wife might be having an affair with a used car salesman, while terrorists smuggle nuclear warheads into the U.S. Anyway, yeah, Arnie does a great job in playing Harry Tasker, our main character. This was really awesome. Directed by James Cameron, who also directed 2 other films which are still ahead on this ranking. He this guy does a great job in the directing. Jamie Lee Curtis is really good as Harry's wife Helen. Tom Arnold's pretty funny in this. Got Bill Paxton, Tia Carrere, and even a young Elijah Dushku. I must say, True Lies is exceptionally a pretty awesome film, and I absolutely love it. This, of course, is one of my main favorite films Schwarzenegger did through the 90s. True Lies is exceptionally awesome. It has great moments, too many to mention though. But overall, it's a pretty fun movie, and I absolutely love it. Next at number three is Predator from 1987. Awesome movie. I think this is another great film. Now, of course, this film is about a team of elite commandos on a secret mission in a Central American jungle who find themselves hunted by an extraterrestrial warrior. John McTiernan does a great job with his direction. But anyway, Arnie steals the show as Dutch. He's great in this. Carl Weathers is in this. He's pretty cool. Everyone was really good in this. This also had Jesse Ventura, who later starred with him in The Running Man. Really something. This also had a young Shane Black in it, who also would later direct The Predator from in 2018, which I am going to review that later on for Super Sci-Fi September next month. But anyway, Predator's pretty awesome. A great film. I think it's one of my favorites of the franchise. And believe me, the Predator does one hell of a job, especially with his kills. They're all bloody good. So Predator proves to have what it takes to be a sci-fi thriller, horror, action, whatever flick you prefer to call it by the genre. Now, for the final two, this wasn't quite a tough decision though, because we got two films from the same franchise. So coming in at number two is The Terminator from 1984. Yes, the film that started it all, directed by James Cameron. Yeah, film set in the post-apocalyptic future, reigning tyrannical supercomputers teleport a cyborg assassin known as the Terminator back to 1984 to kill Sarah Connor, whose unborn son is destined to lead insurgents against 21st century mechanical hegemony. Hegemony, excuse me if I mispronounced that. And meanwhile, the human resistance movement dispatches a lone warrior to safeguard Sarah. This film's pretty awesome. It eventually became a big hit and started off a franchise. Of course, Arnie nails it as the Terminator. Now, most people consider this to be an action movie or a horror movie. Well, it's actually both. It's more close to being horror than action, since this was released before Halloween in 1984. Michael Biehn does a good job as the hero of this, Kyle Reese, and Linda Hamilton does a great job in playing Sarah Connors. It's absolutely good. We also have Paul Winfield, Lance Henriksen. Yeah, just about a lot of them. Earl Bowen's in this. So is Dick Miller, who you may remember from Gremlins, Piranha, and others. So anyway, this film's pretty awesome and has some pretty cool moments. I especially like the one at the club. Yeah, the club scene. That was pretty awesome. So anyway, the Terminator is pretty awesome. But if the Terminator's second, then what do you think number one is? I told you these two films, the final two films, are from the same franchise, so you know this means my number one favorite Schwarzenegger flick is none other than Terminator 2 Judgment Day from 1991. Once again directed by James Cameron, this film is awesome and badass. Of course, this takes place 10 years after the events from the first film. A reprogrammed T-800 is sent back in time to protect young John Connor from the shape-shifting T-1000. Now together with his mother Sarah, he fights to stop Skynet from triggering a nuclear apocalypse. This film was a monster hit. If I'm not mistaken, I think to this very day, this remains one of Schwarzenegger's most successful films to this day. He does a great job in playing the Terminator again. Linda Hamilton's back as Sarah Connor, really good. Edward Furlong does a great job as playing John Connor. He was awesome. Robert Patrick as the T-1000, awesome. I really liked how he does with his shape shifting and what have you. I think this was awesome. There's others. Earl Bowen from the first film is in this. As Epitha Merkerson, who you might remember from Pee Wee's Playhouse and Law and Order. Yeah, she's in this as well. Oh yeah, and there's even Danny Cooksey, who later went on to do voice, who actually started voicing Montana Max on Tiny Toon Adventures. He was recently in Different Strokes last few seasons, and he's went on to do numerous voice acting too. But anyway, back to Terminator 2. I thought this was awesome. The chase scenes were awesome. The action scenes was awesome, and the final battle at the steel mill was awesome. I trust that steel mill. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. But anyway, I really felt Terminator 2 Judgment Day was pretty blooming awesome. And like I said, you cannot go wrong with this film. This film is awesome, epic, exciting, etc., etc., etc. So there you go. That's my ranking. Well, what's your favorite Schwarzenegger flick? Leave me your top pick, maybe your top three, top five, whatever you want to do. Leave them for me in the comment section below. If you like this video, consider clicking the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, and you know the rest. As I'm still just about, well, still trying to reach 1,000. Join me tomorrow when I bring to you my redo of the Wildfire Saturday morning TV log. So if you like this, check out my reviews for some of the films that made this ranking. The upper left-hand corner is my review of Predator. The upper right-hand corner is my review of True Lies. And the bottom left-hand corner is my review of Jingle All the Way. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching, and until next time, this is the Big D saying see ya, and in the words of Schwarzenegger in Terminator 2, I'll be back. Bye now.